Well, hey everybody, it's Steve at 1,000 Year Home. So today is concrete day, but I'm getting a late start, so I'm a little worried. I still have work to do. And in addition, there's a big wind out, so you might hear a little mic noise. My apologies. Just is the way it is. But right here is my bridge that I'm working on. And here is my 20 bags of 80 pounds of concrete. I wanted the 60 pounders. So that I could hold up through this day. Listen, that's a lot of mud to pick up 1,600 pounds in a day, get it mixed and put it down, which means I'm going to be handling at least 4,000 pounds, right? Because I got to put it in the mixer. Then I have to carry it to the mixer and pour it in. I have to screech it out. That's a lot of work for one guy. So here we go. You can see my coyote fence. I finally got it cleared off. So those of you who've been following it, most of my viewers are new viewers. So, but for those couple of hundreds or couple of thousand who subscribe and drop in. So that's a Da Vinci bridge. It's freestanding, if you notice. That middle beam is just dangling in space. You see that? So it's freestanding. Yesterday I finished up with the formwork. And I counted the number of bags of Pumice stone it took, which was 10, to kind of get this evened out. Now, in the corners, I'm going to go ahead, any Pumice stone, add it back in, but I want concrete down into those, and I want them tamped in and secure, and I'll walk over that. So, and then I want this all even. I want 2 inches or so of concrete poured over that whole thing, so that'll have a shell. I'll drop in some rebar. If that's not enough, eventually I'll come back in and I'll add more. In addition, I'm going to take these buckets and I'm going to set them, when I pour the concrete, I'm going to set them for right in the middle of the bridge, so there'll be circles, and those circles will be test pieces for styrofoam concrete wearability. So I'll be doing like a 1-to-1, 2-to-1, 4-to-1, all the, you know, I have 6, hopefully, between 4 and 6 spots that I'm going to have that are round circles the size of these buckets that will be placed in there while I pour the concrete. So I got a lot to do because I need to put on my waders, and I need to go underneath there and do the waders on that. I need on the edges, you see there's a gap there. I need to put reinforcement on the outside because the concrete will bulge that out and then it'll all run out into the water. So I need to put forms on the edge. Need to go around with spray foam, and any place like right there that'll all run out, spray foam that in, or add pumice stone like this. The purpose of the pumice stone is when you take a look at this bridge, and see, it doesn't deflect much when I walk on it. It's a good solid bridge. I've been on it jumping up and down. I've added several hundred pounds. I added a bunch of concrete to it one day, and myself. I went over 1,000 pounds on that bridge. Also, my daughter and I jumped on it one day. I'm over 240 pounds. She's was a professional bodybuilder in the athletic division, so she's a solid gal, taller than normal. So there was more than 400 pounds of us on there, dynamic loading that. Bam, 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 bam. It didn't creak, it didn't crack, it didn't moan. But you notice, because I'm using timbers, that dimensionally, see how weird it is, dips and bends and weirdnesses. So the pumice stone is to make that level, so when I pour concrete, it'll be all the same thickness of concrete, all the same stress. I'll add some rebar in there in addition. So I want above the center post, I want it to be 2 inches above, and then I want to just come down and fill this area. So the first thing I need to do is get in there, and I'm going to go ahead and I think I'll finish the side markers. So I'll go ahead and on the edges of these, I'll go ahead and put reinforcement on the edges, and we'll go from there. How about that? Ah, man. I don't know if I'm going to pour mud today or not. It's really hard to work in the flood. I'll put on my waders maybe, and it'll help me screw things in, but it's hard to add things to it above the water, right? All right, so I got all done with the extra bracing. And trust me on concrete formwork, there is no such thing as over bracing it. Because as soon as it finds a crack anywhere that it can flow out of, all of the slurry flows out of there, which is your limestone, which is your chemical reactive material, maybe leaving behind the gravel, so it weakens it immensely. And once concrete starts flowing, then it stops curing, because the curing is a crystallization process, and if there's mechanical agitation, it breaks those crystals, and more flows and more flows and more flows. Your entire concrete will flow out of a little teeny tiny crack, and it'll drive you insane. So I have one last thing. I'm going to go through and, put stones in places. I've got 3 cans of expanding foam. I'm going to chase all the cracks with and all the edges with expanding foam, and just let it get in there and cure. And then I have to get underneath the bridge in waders, and they're brand new waders that I just bought for cheap on Amazon. So I'm hoping I stay dry, because it's cold. It is winter. And get under the bridge and find out all the flashing, and run screws in it and supports. I'm going to stack boards along the edge, my drill, my extra screws, spray foam, so that I don't have to get out, because this is deeper than it looks. It'll be every bit of 2 or 3 feet right now. Eventually it could be 4 or 5 when it gets to the top. But right now, with 2 inches of rain, 3, it's half full. But so I want to get that done and get that all braced up. Then I can start pouring concrete. And I don't know, I'm going to do some mental math. 20 bags, let's say 15 minutes a bag. Oh, that's 5 times, let's see, 15 minutes a bag. So 4 bags an hour, 20 bags, that's 5 hours for me just to mix concrete and pour it. That doesn't include screeching. That doesn't include the aggravation when it does find a place to run out and I got to plug it somehow or another. I don't know if I have 5 hours of daylight left, to be honest. It's going on 11 o'clock and I still have to get underneath this bridge and screw things in. I can't pour this bridge in 2 or 3 days. I have to, once I start pouring, I have to pour till it's done. So I should have got up earlier today. I could see right now that my math tells me that I should have got up earlier today. In addition, that 5 hours of 4,000 pounds worth of concrete to move is an awful lot on a body. So I got to respect that and realize, I'm not Superman. So I don't know. When I get all the way done with everything and I'm satisfied that it won't leak, going to take a mental note. Maybe go get lunch, think about it for a second. Can I get it done? Can I do a bag of concrete in 10 minutes? 10 minutes, which would be, 6 bags, which would be 24 divided by 6. It's still 4 to 5 hours minimum. And a lot of wear and tear. I don't know. I'm going to have to think. But let's do the next step, which is getting underneath there and spray foam, plugging gaps, doing what I need to do so that it won't leak anywhere out of the bridge as I pour it. If this was yours and you weren't doing this special design, I would recommend, putting down a landscape fabric or something that, just put it down onto the form. And then you could cut it out when you're done, maybe. I don't know. That's a suggestion. I don't even know if it worked. But for me, I'm using Pumice stone as the catch-all to plug the holes. I hope it works. All right. So I've got everything prepped and ready for me to do this work. So I've got my drill on the edge of the cliff. I've got my saw, my grinder with a brand new flap disc, or a grinding disc rather. I have 3 cans of this foaming spray foam that'll expand. So my first thing that I'll do under the bridge, and I'm not going to be able to video this, right? I'm going to be in the water messing with it. I'll video me doing the work or stop motion. That way, if I fall in, my waders fill with water and I drown, there'll be something for video evidence, right, for the police, so they'll know that I didn't commit suicide. I just fell in doing dumb work. So I'm going to screw that flashing up onto the long runs of the Da Vinci Bridge and get that anchored in. Any place I see a hole, I'm going to fill with this. Then I'm going to overtop it with the Pumice stone that I bought yesterday. Then I'm going to take an appraisal for if I'm feeling, strong enough to get it done. If it's 2 o'clock or something like that, just not going to do it, right? There won't be enough hours in a day. My math said 4 to 5 hours, so I really should start this thing around 10 a.m. And maybe I will, maybe I won't. So we'll find out. So I also have extra pickets there that I can cut up. I got a hammer so I can shape metal. I've got my screws, and then for this, because I'll have to cut the tips off, I've got a knife. So I think everything I need is underneath that bridge. So I think that I'm ready to go ahead and start. Go under the bridge, and I built stairs on the other side, so I can move the camera to that side and run the stop motion on it, but it is against the sun, so I tend to be blown out. So I don't know what I'll do. We'll find out together. All right, I've done the math on the cement, and I called in a buddy to help me tomorrow, my nephew, hopefully after lunch. So what I've got here is 20 bags at 80 pounds, so 20 times the 1,600 pounds of concrete, just to get into the mixer. Then once I mix it, to pour it into buckets, and then move it 25 feet away, pour it again. So, and that's just if you only touched it once, right? So you're talking 3,200 pounds just to move it once. but I've got another 5 bags on a pallet over there in case I got an overrun. Actually, I've got also some stucco, so I could go up to 30 bags. Figured if I got lucky, 10 to 15 minutes a bag, which is 4 bags an hour, really, to put in there, screech and all that. Maybe I can get better than that. But no matter what I do, I see between 3 and 6 hours of work. Plus, it's back-breaking work. So I've decided to take a step back. What I'm going to do is just rearrange the concrete, get the Pumice stone out, get that in place on the bridge, and then redo the spray foam. Any place there's gaps, double check it, make sure everything's in, get all of the rebar in, get all of the metal work in, the grid work, the lath work in. Give one more thought to if the concrete's going to run underneath and just right into the water. I don't think so. When I was underneath the bridge, I spent a good deal of time with this can of spray foam, stopping all the holes. I think I'm okay, but it's underneath, and I was, cramped and couldn't see. And anyway, I want to inspect all that. And anywhere that there's a big hunk of spray foam on the inside where the foam is, I want to shave that away so that I don't have a void where the spray foam is, right? So, but I don't want the concrete pushing out on the form. Anyway, long story short, I don't have enough hours in the day. It is the winter time to get it all done today. I'm a little bummed, but I decided that getting this setup all done. Also, I'll stage my cement mixer and get that all ready for tomorrow, so I could just start. I'll start my regular work tomorrow early, and so that I could start working when Scott shows up. 2 men, 1 running the mixer, 1 moving mud. That feels like I could get this down to maybe 5 minutes a bucket, maybe 6-7 minutes a bucket, which means I could cut the time in half and get it done before sunset. We'll see. That's the goal. But without further ado, let me go ahead and rearrange this thing. And my truck is squatting. So, I know that it's a little bit of weight. I know that, it's 1.5 tons that it could do. So, 1,500 pounds, 3,500 pounds, thereabouts. It does have the truck suspension, the towing suspension, so it's a heavier duty suspension, but it's still protesting a little bit. Let me rearrange. Well, now it can rain tonight. I'll put the tailgate up. I'm not driving anywhere, so I don't have to worry about that much weight that far forward on the wheels, which would have been bad. Let me get that Pumice stone up. Well, there you have it in the setting sun. Pretty good design. So I've straightened all of the kilter. Any place the mud could run out, I went ahead and got spray foam in there. Got some rebar. I'm going to go get another rebar right now for here. And since these are on the ground, I'm not going to worry about rebar on them. But I'll run rebar up and over to match the arch. Fixed it all up so I can screech it. I measured it as I went. I am happy with this to start mudding tomorrow, and I was hoping that I'd be able to mud today. But it took a long time underneath that bridge to get everything sealed off properly. I could see some spray foam came out where there's daylight. You could see it. So anyway, tomorrow I'll go ahead and clean that up a little bit, pick up all my tools, get this ready, and I'm ready to go ahead and start mudding. So I've got all the mud straightened out. Oh, I might move the cement mixer and get it in place today. I don't know. Maybe. I don't. It's under a tarp. Maybe I'll just leave it there tonight. This side's looking just as good. If you look in each one of the I-beams, you can see I dropped in some rebar, and then I put spray foam on it to lock it into place. So I'm using, instead of metal ties, I'm just using spray foam. And then I have this mesh over the top of the whole thing, kind of catch all the concrete. I'm hoping it still oozes through a little bit, gets on there and creates a crunchy shell. Then years from now, when and if the logs ever rot away, another person could come by, and such there's an arch, they could go ahead and cut the and make forms, cut the dirty old post out once they rot, chisel them out, and then recoat this with concrete and a new form, and you would have a new bridge. So I'm liking this. I'm thinking that I'm going to be successful, as long as there's not a huge tremendous gap tomorrow. And if there is, I'll stick my spray foam down inside of the concrete and try to seal it up that way. Don't know if that'll work. I have my waders at the wet ready so I could get back in if I needed and get under like a troll and, anything that's happening. But I think I'm going to be successful. It's just going to be a tremendous amount of work. So. All right, well, this is Steve at 1,000 Year Homes. This is my Da Vinci bridge that'll be overcapped with concrete, high-strength concrete. There's some rebar in there. Listen, I'm liking this design. You're welcome to copy it. Learn from me. I'm hoping it's good. Thank you. Bye-bye.